Hello everyone, welcome back to Octagon Side with Grant Ahles, and today we're going to talk about the aftermath of UFC 289. It was a great night for Canada. All Canadian fighters won their fights and went 5 for 5. Steve Erceg defeats David Dvorak on 8 days notice. I thought for sure Erceg was going to lose the fight since it was short notice and it's its debut, but Erceg was just a better fighter. Kinda annoyed he won since he screwed up my parlay, but what can you do? That's MMA for you and sports betting. Can't predict the future. If I could, shoot, I'd be a millionaire. I'm excited to see where he goes from here now that he's entering the top 10 and could get fast-tracked for the title. Blake Bilder gets his undefeated streak snapped. Blake is another fighter I bet on that didn't go well. Overall, my bets didn't do great last night, let's just say that. Blake just didn't show up, and Kyle Nelson was the better man. Good for Kyle Nelson to start off the Canadian streak. Amin Sahabi gets a sweet first-round knockout against Irichi Long. Amin now has a 3-fight win streak and is starting to make a name for himself in the bantamweight division. Amin is one of the 5 Canadians who made a great statement on Saturday, and best of luck to him in the future. Jasmine Jasudavicius gets the job done by unanimous decision and is the 3rd Canadian to get the job done on Saturday. She controlled Miranda Maverick wherever the fight took place. Jasmine dominated Miranda on the ground, where Maverick was supposed to have the clear advantage. Jasmine has back-to-back wins and is now entering the top 15, so let's see where her career takes her next. Nasruddin Imavov versus Chris Curtis ended in a no contest. It sucks for Nasruddin because it looked like he was winning the fight. Imavov is the only fighter to take down Chris Curtis. Chris just can't catch a break. This is his 2nd headbutt in a row and now has a no contest. Hopefully they can rebook this fight in the future. Now we head to the main card where Marc-Andre Barriault gets a unanimous decision against Eric Andres. Nothing much to say here. It was a competitive fight, but Marc-Andre was the better fighter and racked up another win for Canadians. Dan Ige gets the unanimous decision against Nate Landwehr. Nate was almost out multiple times. Good on him for staying in the fight and keeping the fight going to the end. Unfortunately for Nate, Dan was just a better man, outstriking him the entire fight with 2 knockdowns. This fight was a good win for Dan. Maybe he'll get another crack against someone in the top 10. Mike Malott, the Canadian superstar, defeats Adam Fugit, is still undefeated in the UFC, and is now riding a 4-fight win streak if you count the Contender Series. Mike has finished every one of his fights. I see big things for Mike in the future. I think he deserves someone in the top 5 soon, if not his next fight. Welterweight has a handful of young up-and-comers, and can't wait to see where their careers go in the future. Let's address the co-main event. Charles Oliveira knocks out Beneil Dariush in round 1. This was a huge shock to me. I did not see this coming whatsoever. I thought Beneil was going to drag this into the later rounds and nullify Charles' weapons to a decision. That's why I bet on the over 1.5 rounds, because even if Charles pulls something crazy like this, I expected it to be pulled off in the back half of the fight. Charles just keeps showing us you should never count him out. What's crazy is he's now defeated the entire top 5 in the lightweight division. Oliveira definitely deserves a rematch after the kind of performance he did, and makes sense with the time frame of everything going on in the lightweight division. Charles is pretty much unscathed and has plenty of time to train again for Islam in October, since Dana pretty much confirmed Islam is returning to Abu Dhabi. I know a lot of people are going to say, what about the winner between Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje? Now, the winner of that fight does deserve a crack at Islam. The problem is I highly doubt the winner of that fight comes out unscathed. They'll be pretty damaged up, so I doubt they'll be in good shape for October. Would rather see the rematch me personally, because I still believe Charles could be someone that could give Islam problems, even after the performance both fighters put up in the first fight. I just don't think Poirier or Gaethje have a chance against Islam. I only think Oliveira and Volkanovski have a good chance at beating him. It sucks for Beneil because he was so close to finally getting his title shot, but I could still see him fighting for the title one day. I think the fight to make for Beneil next is him versus Rafael Fiziev, but we'll just have to wait and see what the future holds next. Now the main event of the evening. Amanda Nunes versus Irene Aldana. I knew this was either going to be a snooze fest or Irene might just pull the miracle of the century like Juliana Pena and defeat Amanda, but unfortunately it was another dominant performance by Nunes. I bet on the over 2.5 rounds, but expected Nunes to win. Aldana was just a deer in the headlights, and I think got caught up in the moment and cracked under pressure. She just really didn't throw anything and was beat in every aspect of the fight. Something that a lot of people saw coming, including myself, Amanda Nunes retires on top as the GOAT of women's MMA and still the double champion. I definitely think it was time for her to retire. She has beat everyone. Nothing against Amanda, but the women's bantamweight division has been boring for the last 5 to 6 years because she keeps dominating everybody. Now we can get new fresh matchups for the belt and the division gets revived again. I know a lot of people were calling her out for ducking Pena and saying she's avoiding the trilogy, but what's the point of even fighting her? Nunes proved in the second fight it was a fluke and dominated her for 5 rounds. I don't see Juliana doing any better in the third fight. Juliana was supposed to fight on Saturday until she broke her rib, and that's not Amanda's fault. Regardless, Amanda revealed she would have fought one more time after defeating Pena and retired anyway, so I think it's the right call. I hope the UFC gets rid of the featherweight division because barely anyone fights in it, and it doesn't have any true contenders. I don't see the UFC going out of their way to build it up and set it up properly, so it's better just to get rid of it. For the bantamweight division, I think the obvious fight to make for the vacant title is Juliana Pena versus Raquel Pennington. 1 versus 2. It's the fight to make that makes the most sense. Pena is the number 1 contender. She has won 4 of her last 5 and the one to beat Amanda Nunes. And Pena is on a 5-fight win streak. It just makes too much sense. Irene should probably rematch Holly Holm or fight someone out of the top 5. But we'll just have to wait and see in the future. That's my reaction to UFC 289. This has been Octagon Side with Grant Ahles. Please subscribe for more MMA content, and I'll see you all next time.